In today's video, I will show you everything you need to know to make insanely good pain beats in 2024. Let's hop right into the video. So the first component that we've got is this LA Custom C7 cinematic piano from Keyscape. I know Keyscape is a super expensive plugin, but it's definitely worth the money. And I personally like to use the cinematic piano, the wash, or the dark score. I just like to play with these reverb knobs or with the performance knobs to give it the right sound. So let's hop into the MIDI. I laid down this 1-7-6 progression, which is a typical pain progression. And at the end, we go back to the 7, which creates that build up again. And if you loop your melody, it will nicely fade into the first part again. So the basic rhythm of the melody stays the same, besides that little part at the end where I just switched it up a little bit. And then I added this melodic top line, and this top line is what makes your melody sound unique and not as generic and as something that you have already heard in 1000 Bs. And to come up with those top line melodies, I personally like to just loop the piano and listen closely to it and just draw in the notes that I think would fit good. So this is the piano. So once I got the basic element of the melody laid down, I like to start with the layering. And for this case, I like to use either string or pass sounds, something smooth and ambient. And one of my favorite presets out of Omnisphere is this Hollywood Studio string section. And as you can see, I just copy and pasted the core elements of the chords. This is the easiest way to let those two sounds match together. Up to this point, I added no effects to anything. I just kept the sounds as they are. Since not everybody is able to come up with nice guitar melodies with a MIDI keyboard and a good realistic guitar VST or with a real guitar, there are still plenty of opportunities to get some good guitar sounds. I like to either use Arcade, which will cost you around 10 bucks per month, or you can sign up for Splice and get a subscription there and download some guitar sounds, some guitar top lines. For this case, I used Arcade, and then I just laid down these two notes and Arcade will do the rest for me. I only added 2 effects to this. I just cleaned it up with an EQ, and then I just added this reverb so it doesn't sound dry. So let's listen to the first 3 sounds together. At this point, you just want to stack those parts where you've got nothing playing out. So something that works super good is this pain ambience. And someone told me I will drop a kit in a couple of weeks that maybe includes that ambient sound. So if you don't want to miss that, make sure to subscribe to the channel now. And this is what it sounds like. There's still some room, so that's why I grabbed another guitar from Arcade, which is this Emotions guitar right here, laid down a second guitar which perfectly complements the first guitar that I've already laid down. We've also got the reverb, give it a bit more depth, a little EQ to clean it up a bit, and then it sounds like this. That just sounds crazy. And last component, soft finger bass from Xpan. Just followed the root notes, pretty simple bass. If you don't have the money to get Contact and get these expensive ones, you know what I'm saying. Like, this is the best option in my opinion. Get Xpan for like 10-15 bucks in a sale, you're good to go. Then I just bounced out this whole loop, kept it as it is, but I set the mode to stretch so I can pitch up the tempo, and then I went from 166 to 174, and for the master I just added this chroma tape stereo, mastering clean and open, and I also added this riser crash thing where you got this For the arrangement of my loops, I like to have everything playing in the first part and then a part where everything slows down a bit. So, and then I just bounce out the stems with a little bit of space since all of those sounds have, with a little bit of space in between since all those sounds have reverb and you don't want the sounds to overlap into each other. So, and this is the final result. So let's hop into the drums. As you can see, I only used 6 drum sounds. Since the melody is already complex, I like to go with a lot simpler drums than I would lay down if I got a simple melody with a lot of space. First of all, I always start with clap/snare. So from there on, I wanted to lay down the hi-hats, and I didn't want it to be a simple two-step. I wanted to have some rows here and there. As you can see, we got some. And for this case, I used a MIDI from my new upcoming kit. I got a lot of hi-hat MIDIs included in there, and I used this one. I just deleted that note right here and this note right here to get some room to breathe in there. This is what those two sounds like together. I know it looks like the third sound is the 808, but what I do is I lay down the very first note of each chord just to get the vibe, you know, just to get like some low end in before I really start to find the rhythm that I want for the 808. What I did first is I went in and added this filler snare right here. Those are really the sweet spots where you can add your filler snares. Most of the time you can't do no wrong if you add your filler snares in those rooms, and they just create that bounce. I decided to take that second note out here. There's no magic behind it, but you got something different and the listener is still on track and has to listen closely to get what's going on, if you know what I mean. Then we've got an open hat sound. We've got an open hat on every hit, and then I just added one extra note in there. I like to put them in spots where I feel like once I add the open hat and take it out, you can clearly hear a difference of the energy in the beat. And also what works pretty well is if you want to highlight a certain part, for example the hook, you can add the open hat in there and the beat gets an extra bounce. So this is what it sounds like. Then I started to add the rhythm to the 808. I kept it very simple since there's already enough bounce in the hi-hat percussion snare combo. So as I said, in the first half I let a lot of room, and in the second half got a little bit busier with the 808. And since I wanted to add a kick to the 808 as well, what I like to do is I don't put the velocities to the max, which makes it more easy in the mix to let the kick punch through, especially if you are on these high notes. If you're on the low notes like this one or something up to E, you can put the velocity all to the max and your kick will still punch through if you just boost it the right way. But on these high notes from F sharp to the high B, it gets difficult sometimes. So just put the velocities down a little bit so your kick can punch through, and then you're totally fine. This is what we've got. So, and then I just copy and pasted this 808 over into the kick. As you can see, if you copy and paste it like that, you can just press Alt K on your keyboard, brings it all to one note, Shift D to shorten it, bring it down one note, boost the velocities up, and that's it. So, and for the arrangement of those pain beats, I like to go with a little bit of a longer intro and not let the beat drop right after the first 8 bars. Usually I like to build it up a little bit, so we got less sounds, then we got something new coming in for the next 8 bars, then we got the hook drop in, and then I'm going back to the verse. So either I take out a lot of sounds, plus if I take out some of the drum sounds, here I took out the hi-hat and the 808 just to build up the momentum again and the tension. So, and then we've got the verse playing, and then we've gone back to that bridge section, which you can fan right here to build up the hook again. So this is pretty much all the same until this point. And then for my outros, I like just to either let it fade out or as I did it right here, I hold up the tension high and then let the beat drop again with just the basic melodic element to let the beat fade out smoothly. So this is how you make paint beats in 2024. I hope you enjoyed the video. Subscribe to the channel if you don't want to miss the new kit. I will put out a free demo version before I will drop the whole kit. If you want some extra content on how to make paint melodies, check out the first link in the description. Peace out.